We're just about to cross the halfway point of the BodyArmor Pro Series in 2025, a year-long season that started back in January that will end this December. Here we are in June, and we are here at the Watkins Glen International, one of the best road courses that we have on the circuit. 3.4 miles in length. We go through the boot and we skip the chicane as we always do, and here we are. After a wild Wall Cup Series race at Pocono a few hours ago, a couple hours north, here in the state of New York, for the Watkins Glen Grand Prix. The Grand Prix of Watkins Glen, to be exact. 15 laps of action here for our second road course in a row. Let's see how it all goes down here as we combine the BodyArmor Pro Series and the BodyArmor LYTE Series East here today in Watkins Glen, New York. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to Watkins Glen International. You might be wondering, why are we here now? Well, tomorrow, in real life, it is the 6 Hours of the Glen, a race that I loved attending last year that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to attend this year, but a great event if you ever want to see an IMSA race, especially here in the Northeast. And you know what, it was a lot of fun, and we decided to have this Pro Series race same weekend as the 6 Hours of the Glen. But hey, just a few weeks from now, Wall Cup Series is going to be here, IndyCar is going to be here. Caleb, I know you're excited for that one. We're all excited for the Like Effect Ice Cream Super Weekend, which will be later on in the year, as you see right there on your screen. But here, we get the BodyArmor Pro Series, race 12 of the season. This is a traditional race as well here in the Pro Series. We've always come to Watkins Glen for these guys, but for the first time ever, we got a 40-car field on this race because the BodyArmor LYTE Series East is joining us here today for their one and only road course of the season. And it's going to be a fascinating race to see who gets it done up front and see who gets the 10 points. We're assuming that an E-Series driver isn't going to win the race today and get 12 points. See how it ends up shaking out over there in the E-Series, but join alongside Caleb Rose and Eddie Debs for the call of this race here today. And Caleb, I'll start off with you. This is a very tricky road course because it's very high speed, and there are a lot of places to make mistakes on this place. How do you think it's going to go down, and do you think we're going to see a little bit of carnage here today in this 15-lap event?
We've seen, and I'm sure the audience has definitely seen, a lot of races here at the Watkins Glen International Raceway, and yeah, you can definitely say that again. This is a very quick, very sweeping road course, and yeah, we can definitely possibly see some carnage here today, especially with the large field size. Like you mentioned, we got the East guys here today, and we'll just have to wait and see how all those guys fare. Like you mentioned, I'm pretty sure this is their first and only road course race that they will be running on this season. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how those guys will run, and maybe if they can compete with some of our guys here in the BodyArmor Pro Series. We'll have to see, but one thing I think is for certain, it's going to be a very fun race, as the usual here at Watkins Glen. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out.
And Eddie, you know how this series is with the Pro Series, and you know how dominant Blaine Keys has been. He starts on the pole position, but it's a bit of a disadvantage to be on the inside lane going in the turn number one. What do those guys in the inside lane need to do as this race goes along to have an opportunity at getting the race victory after 15 laps?
I would say survive the first lap. That's what I would say. We talked about last year, there was a pretty, I don't want to say infamous because I don't think a lot of people cared, but pretty crazy crash between Stuart Grad and Igor Barreto that knocked them both out in the first lap of this race last year, which Drew Webb went on to win. Blaine Keys, I believe, finished third in that race, so he knows how to race around this place. But I think with the 40-car field, with all of these drivers, it's imperative that anyone who wants the chance to beat Blaine Keys just survives the first lap, where I assume some insanity will happen, and we will probably have what I'm going to say is a sport ender, because it might as well be. This is it's the boot. A lot of these newer drivers I don't think have driven on this course. Maybe Alexander Rowe has, but for a lot of the people who show up in the Herd Sprint Series, they're not going to get into this until later in the year. So we might see something crazy happen here lap one, and I would imagine surviving that must be the first step forward for anyone who wants to beat Blaine Keys in this race. And for Blaine Keys, it's probably just going to be business as usual.
We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out for Blaine as this race moves along, and he's had a great season. He's got 55 points on the field. That's more than 2 race victories worth of points. Still, however, we're not halfway through the season yet, and it is very easy for somebody to go 2 wins in a row and close back in if Blaine happens to wreck out in those races, but he's got a good opportunity here today at extending that points lead even more on Logan Williams. Leonard Kochmer 64 behind, Stuart Gratton 68 behind, and Rogaldorn 76 behind coming into this one. But let's go into the E-Series standings there, because I think it's a little bit more interesting for these guys. Alexander Rowe has been very dominant, but he only has an 8-point lead on Aaron Abel. And if you look over in the West Series and what Ryan Durrani is doing, Durrani's pulling away over there. He's got nearly 2 race wins in the West Series. Alexander Rowe, even with those 3 wins, only 8 points on Aaron Abel. He could theoretically lose the points lead here today. Those E-Series drivers, of course, top 10 E-Series finishers receive championship points. If an E-Series driver happens to win this race, they get the 12 points towards the championship. Otherwise, the highest E-Series driver gets 10 points. And Aaron Abel could theoretically get those 10 points here today. We'll see what he ends up doing. But very, very fun race here at Watkins Glen each and every year. And we got ourselves 40 cars in the field, 15 laps, a little bit on the shorter end compared to the Wall Cup Series race. This race has essentially always been 15 laps. And we will have a cycle of pit stops for the first time as well, and that's going to be a crucial part to this race. We'll have to see who ends up having the advantage once we get to that point. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from Watkins Glen International. And it's Blaine Keys in number 14, starting on the pole position. Had the fastest time at Le Mans last week, which is no surprise. He was a runner-up in that race to Juan Romero. Alongside there, Justin Seidel, who is probably in the best starting position for this race. That outside lane going into turn 1 tends to have the advantage, in Seidel looking at his first win on the channel in quite some time. I think it would be his first win since the Wall Cup Series at Road America in 2023. Justin, of course, had his infamous moment here in that same year when he was teammates with Matt Tuck, and they took each other out in turn number 1 late in the season, which ultimately cost Matt Tuck the title that year. Juan Romero, last week's winner, to the inside of Nathan Stapleton in row number 2. You got Stuart Gratton, Nicholas Samedillo in row 3. Isaac Nichols and Ludovic Charette making up row number 4. A couple of chase hopefuls. Of course, Ludovic's already clinched the spot into the chase. Isaac Nichols, we'll have to see how that Friday night race at Atlanta goes. It's going to be a lot of fun watching that chase bubble fluctuate in that event. You got Rogaldorn, Thomas Troxel rounding out the top 10 in the Pro Series there. And of course, we'll go back to the E-Series drivers, show you guys who's where. And you got Alexander Rowe on the outside pole for the E-Series drivers. Andrew Williams had the best qualifying ever for those guys. Of course, they all start behind the Pro Series drivers in this race. And of course, the highest finisher of the E-Series gets 10 points. Unless they win the race outright, and they will get 12. And of course, everyone ahead of them there, they can get some Pro Series points as well. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case for them. Going to be a lot of fun seeing what these drivers do as the race moves along. Josh Marzak and Christian Vargas will be in row number 2 for the E-Series. Kyle Craven, Ryosuke Fujimoto, Bibi Ruiz, Reggie Fogelman, and then you got Joshua Neely and Corey Case. And Aaron Abel starting a little bit deeper in the field there. And we'll have to see if he can find his way around Alexander Rowe, close into him in the championship standings. We'll have to see who wins this race. And quickly, Caleb and then Eddie, who's getting the race victory here in the Watkins Glen Grand Prix here in the BodyArmor Pro Series.
I mean, he's starting on the pole position, which is arguably a really good advantage here at these road courses, so honestly, the pick is kind of standing out here on a silver platter. Give me the number 14 of Blaine Keys to get it done here at Watkins Glen.
Double that. In the end, I only see Blaine.
Let's see. I know you picked Blaine in the race last year and he wrecked out, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. It's possible on a track such as this. Here we go. Justin Seidel and Blaine Keys, our pole sitter, coming to the line. Green flag is out, and we're underway in the Grand Prix of Watkins Glen. Well, a good jump there for Blaine Keys on the inside lane. He did not let Seidel have any advantage at the start. Nathan Stapleton up to 3rd, and side-by-side up the S's between Nicholas Samedillo and Juan Romero. You got Ludovic Charette trying to find her way. Rogaldorn as well, Stuart Gratton in line. They're all led by the number 14 of Blaine Keys. And what a surprise, looking to get his 4th win of the season, looking to get his 30th career win on the channel here today. He has been chasing that 30th career win since February when he won at Daytona in this series. Nicholas Samedillo to the inside of Juan Romero. Romero struggling at the start of this race right there. is a much different track than Le Mans. It's a lot easier to get around drivers, a lot of great passing zones, like I said, and these guys are taking advantage of it. How about Justin Seidel, though, in the 86 machine? Does he have a nose to the inside of Blaine right here? He's coming really close to the 14, and here we go as we head into the heel. Justin Seidel looking to take it away from Blaine Keys here on lap number 1.
Down the inside, we're going to be side by side here. Oh boy, Keys nearly goes off the circuit.
He got it.
But Justin Seidel's going to get it. He clears Blaine Keys for the lead. And these guys are being side by side a little bit there. Help Stapleton kind of get into the mix here. But what a pass there out of the 86 of Justin Seidel. Honestly, kind of a textbook pass there. And if he can hold it on here in the final corner, he looks like he is going to lead the opening lap. We had one car go really wide there in the final couple of corners, and this is probably the trouble spot on the
Thomas Troxels around.
Oh boy, look out.
And everyone trying to scramble to avoid him, and somehow they will. That is amazing that nobody got into on it. That is such a that's a bad place to be turned around sideways. That is the trouble spot here at Watkins Glen, and Troxel going to slip all the way to the back of the field there in the number 10 machine, and it's not been a good season for Troxel at all. He has still only pointed in 2 races this season, all the way back 22nd in the championship standings. Meanwhile, in the East Series, who do we got here? I believe it is Alexander Rowe, who's the highest of those East Series drivers at the moment. And Andrew Williams did not have a good start, and he kind of had a disadvantage being on that inside lane that deep in the field. And Alexander Rowe's passing some of these Pro Series drivers. He's around Lauren Martinez, around Vinny Scholes, around Alonso, around Matt Tuck. And no surprise to see Alexander Rowe have such a good run. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing Alexander Rowe in the Cup Series next year, because that driver is really good. Sam Medeo and Romero still going after it here for 4th. And I think Nicholas is finally going to get it right there in the 48. Here comes Ladovic Schritt as well, trying to move her way to the inside. Stuart Gratton. Great racing all around here at Watkins Glen, already much more enticing than what we saw last week at Le Mans.
Something I forgot to say at the top of this broadcast was that this is probably, I think, the best chance for Alexander Rowe to really show what he's got. I mean, against these Pro Series drivers, and he's doing pretty admirably to start so far. It's great for him. But to go back to Justin Seidel, I mean, not a guy who's had a long losing streak like some of the other drivers in here. Won last year an IndyCar race. I don't remember which one it was. So it's not a long time coming for him, but it's felt like it based on his Wawa Cup Series performance. And honestly, at this, I mean, him being able to hold off Keys would be absolutely amazing for him. But then again, it would only help him to at least all these other drivers. I know all of them want to get past Keys, but at this point, you know, maybe some pit road shenanigans. That's what people are hoping for at this point. We're going to have to see if they happen, but 87 looks like they've got a little bit of damage on the left side. That's not going to help Juan Romero keep in the top 10 for long.
Got into the outside wall just a little bit. There is damage on the 87, and there's a bit of a gap there from Ladovic to Romero, and Stuart Gratton looking to move to the inside of the 87 there for position. Winner at Hillside earlier this season, Ace Garcia, home race for him. Bit of a home race for him. Pocono, I think, is a bit more of a home race. Oh, boy! Contact there with Romero off the carousel. That was very close, and he's in the grass. And everyone just trying to scramble around this 87 machine. And, you know, even though there are a lot of passing zones here at Watkins Glen, still, you got a slow car ahead of you. Hard to get around them sometimes, and that's been the case with Garcia and these guys at the moment. Gratton starting to pull away there from the 87 machine. Not missing anything up front. Justin Seidel still out front in the 86 ahead of Blaine and Nathan Stapleton, going to get his second win of the season. Got the win at Indianapolis 2 races ago. Going to get one here. Nicholas Amadeo up to 4th. He has not had a good season here in the, I say that, he's 12th in points. He's pointed 5 times. Let's put it this way, no one's had a good season except for Blaine Keys, basically. He's got 55 points on the field. And Justin Seidel, 13th in the standings, only a total of 38 points. Blaine Keys is 110 points ahead of him at this moment, but Justin's going to try to get him on the racetrack, and I know that's exactly what that 86 wants to see. To your point, Eddie, pit stops are going to be crucial to who ends up getting this race victory. We're going to get to that point in a moment. How about this 40 machine? Alexander Rowe up to 19th overall on the racetrack.
Whoa.
And well ahead of his colleagues over there in the East Series. Second place in the East Series is Christian Vargas. 3rd is Marzak, and then 4th is Andrew Williams there. Kyle Craven rounding out the top 5 in the East Series. That is Vinny Scholes. That's her 64 machine. The other 64 machine, Dylan Matthews, she's all the way back. I can't tell if she's top 10 in the... Yeah, she's top 10 in the East Series at the moment, but barely. No, actually, no, she's not. She's outside because Thomas Troxel, Pro Series driver at the back of the field, doesn't count to the E-Series. So Dylan Matthews, the first driver out of the points for the E-Series at the moment. Alex Inro, though, you know, if this race was an endurance race, he might actually have a shot at winning. That 40 machine has passed a lot of cars midway through the field right there. A lot of speed there out of Alex Inro.
That 40 car is absolutely slicing his way through the field here in the early stages of this race. And boy, this has been really chaotic here so far here from Watkins Glen. We've seen a crash, and we've seen a couple close calls here in just the first 4 laps, but we are definitely seeing some great racing as Ace Garcia finally going to get past Juan Romero there. And yeah, Romero looks like maybe struggling a little bit with the handling of that 87, and I'm sure the damage is definitely not helping. We got a lot of side-by-side back there. And honestly, kind of want to shout out Aaron Abel. He started towards the back of the field, but considering where he started, he's done a pretty decent job here making his way through the field.
And we'll see how the cycle of pit stops goes for him as well. It's a very unique race for the E-Series drivers here at Watkins Glen. They're not going to see anything else like this the rest of the season, where they have a live cycle of pit stops. You have 40 cars on the track. Most of the time, they're just racing alongside each other for 50 laps of the short track with no stops. And here today, a much different challenge for a lot of those drivers. Alex Inro, as a driver, is much used to that. He's won multiple Cup Series races in the past, and hence why we really want to see him in the Wall Cup Series, because he's been around a long time. He's won a Wall Cup Series race before. He's driving for you guys there, Caleb, with Appalachian Motorsports last year at Phoenix. So you know the potential that Alex Inro has, and no surprise to see him run as well, get as many wins as he has. And I think the same can be said for Ryan Durrani over in the West Series as well, because Durrani's a guy who's been around for many years, and he has definitely shown his prowess over there in the West Series, and looking to win that championship over there as well. Alex Inro, Ryan Durrani, really the front runners in both of the LYTE Series. It'll be fun when we get to the couple of showdown races we got left at Iowa and Gateway between those guys. I'm excited to see how it ends up shaking out. Oh, Blaine's wide. Blaine might be losing the tires just a little bit. You know, keep in mind, we got that cycle of pit stops. Tire wear is going to come into effect here at Watkins Glen, and that has been the case so far. And Justin Seidel doing an excellent job. He's led every lap so far here at Watkins Glen.
I was about to talk about how these pit stops, if I can remember correctly, the last time we've had cars like these on it was the, I mean, they're not cars, but the truck series. And if I remember correctly, that pit cycle was certainly interesting. And by interesting, I mean crash-filled and all the other things you could say about
Blaine's on the wall.
Oh boy, Blaine, yeah. Blaine
he's struggling.
Tires, and that's gonna let Stapleton by him. So I would expect nothing less. But having seen what can happen in a Watkins Glen pit cycle, I'm starting to think that we might see a lot more chaos than we've already seen. And with Blaine hitting that wall, we might be seeing a lot more. Especially if Sam Badillo can get by him. This is a crazy day if Sam Badillo gets what will be his 32nd win of his career.
Number 32.
Especially in a race where Blaine Keys looked all for naught to finally get race number 30. That would be just an absolute, like, salt in the wound moment there for Blaine. But
and here we go.
Stewart and Ladovic, what are you guys? Jeez.
Driver and team owner right there.
Yep.
You know, Ladovic, not to spoil the race for you guys, I know you haven't seen it yet, didn't have a good day at Pocono earlier today, and I know she wants to rebound a little bit from just not being up there with all those guys earlier. But not to spoil it as well for you guys either, Blaine wasn't up there as well, and not looking good for Blaine over in the Wall Cup Series side at the moment. Though he has done an excellent job here in the Pro Series, he kind of is in the position he's in right now because of those first 3 races. And even if it was just those first 3 races, he'd still be 5th in the championship standings. But he's got to be careful not to slip up too much because still a long ways left to go. And those race wins are worth quite a bit. And Justin Seidel knows that. He's in a good position to get 25 here today. Keys trying to get back around Stapleton for second. And not able to get that at the moment. Trying to put Stapleton in the outside wall. And Blaine's actually coming down the pit lane to repair the damage. Uh-oh. He slammed it a bit too much. He's the only one. Actually, Romero's also coming down. Romero. Maybe a little bit of a strategy play. The one-stop race. They can make it from here. Drew Webb also in the back, and some of the other guys in the back of the field also coming down. I think that's Andrew Williams. So it's a one-stopper, and those guys know it. So they can still make it from here. We'll see if that undercut ends up working for him as this race moves along. That's some... Oh, I almost thought we were 3 wide there for a moment. We were not. Corey Case, Anthony Hernandez, Jared Martin back in there. They're all still led in the E-Series by Alexander Rose on the back bumper there of LJ Cemento. Poor old Cemento, last in the points, only 6 points in the year, and he's only pointed once. He and Carson Miller are the only 2 drivers in the Pro Series who have only pointed 1 time this season, and right now LJ Cemento still outside the top 10 in the point standings coming into this one. This is for the last spot in the points right here. Matthew Huber trying to get around Jack Haas. Rolador trying to move his way up in the standings as well. And Stewart has gotten around Ludovic Shred. Now Stuart Gratton trying to get around Nicholas Samedeo. This 35 looks like it's got a lot of speed, but Justin Zeidel's got a 2.7 second lead right now. Can't drive it off the track and hold on to that lead, but he's in a good spot. And as long as he has a clean stop, he might pull away and dominate this race and get this race victory. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Gratton all over the back bumper of Samedeo here for 3rd.
Another driver and owner combo here from the Haas IndyCar Series. So this definitely ought to be interesting to watch as Gratton tries to find a way around that 48 machine. Oh, Nathan Stapleton's going to slam the wall there off the final corner. So that's definitely going to cost him a little bit of time, and we got a lot of other cars going wide. Kochmer gets the wall there. Rowe almost gets it. Yeah, that final corner there, turn 11, definitely the trouble spot here at Watkins Glen. We've already seen it claim a couple of cars here today. But Justin Zeidel looks like he's kept that 86 clean here so far, and he has absolutely pulled away with that race lead, especially after Nathan Stapleton got in the wall there. But it'll definitely be really interesting to see where all these guys cycle out. And yeah, Blaine Keys there in the 14. Not going to fare out the best because he probably had to fix up the side of that car.
Yeah, and Andrew Williams was able to jump Blaine Keys there, and Andrew was a little bit deeper in the field. So that's an unfortunate one. Zeidel's just pulling away now, but the top 5 have a great battle right now from second on back, and Stapling kind of behind there, holding up Samedeo, Stuart Gratton, and the 00 machine there of Ludovic Charette. All on the line. 2 of these guys still going for their first wins of the season here in the Pro Series. That's Samedeo and Charette. 6th place is Ace Garcia. Has been doing an excellent job in this one, holding on to that position. Isaac Nichols in 7th, Rogador and Jack Haas, and now Matthew Huber. That is the top 10.
And you gotta think that the people at this point, you can get some points. You can get some points ahead of Blaine, assuming Blaine doesn't cycle out into the top 10. So this would be huge. But I imagine the pit slack is going to happen just around now.
Well, Stewart's the only one within any close vicinity who's actually going to get a decent amount of points. This would, the way they currently run, put Stewart up into the 2nd position in the points. Here we go. This is going to get a little interesting because you're going to have Stapleton and these guys leading him down, and everybody's going to be coming down right here. Question is, where's Andrew Williams going to slot out? Because Andrew Williams essentially is the driver who's got the best run off the pit lane from those guys who came down before halfway. And he's going to be a bit of a benchmark there. We'll see if that undercut gains him any positions on the racetrack. Maybe gains him a spot ahead of Alexander Rowe. And is Justin not taking tires there, or did I just miss that? I think I just missed it. He's got 4 tires on that 86. He's going to win the race off rather easily. And Nicholas Samedeo, oh boy, here we go. Bit of damage repair on Staple, and that's going to affect him. Look at Alexander Rowe going 3 wide off the pit lane.
Look at Rowe!
Ahead of Stuart Gratton and Logan Williams. Stewart's got to be careful coming off the pit lane right here. It's a very wonky exit. Oh, brother. That got interesting.
Wow.
That got really interesting. And Stapleton, this is one thing that I failed to mention. You cannot damage your race car, otherwise you're going to have to repair it. And that is such a huge thing here at Watkins Glen. That's what bit Blaine Keys. And that's what bit Nathan Stapleton. And these guys trying to get off the pit lane right here. And it looks like we might have a little bit of damage between Vargas and Joshua Neely in the back of the field. Aaron Abel hasn't moved up at all. I'll tell you who has moved up. Alexander Rowe is going to be 4th.
Wow.
He is going to get some Pro Series points here today at Watkins Glen if this keeps up. Logan Williams also jumped those guys, and Logan's up to 5th now. Stewart has fallen back just a little bit there.
To
6th. Isaac Nichols, Andrew Miller, Rogaldorn. Andrew Williams may also get points here today, though he's got a lot of damage on that 99 now. As long as he doesn't have to come back down the pit lane, he will not have to repair it. You can risk the damage a little bit more at this point in the race. Miller is flying in that 78 machine. Both the Durrani cars are fast today. I don't know if anyone's going to catch up to Justin Zeidel. Ludovic Charette, Nicholas Samedeo, Alexander Rowe, and Logan Williams. That's the top 5 here at Watkins Glen as we come to 6 laps to go here in the Grand Prix of Watkins Glen.
Something I wanted to point out is that Keys looked like he cycled out to about 11th there. Which means that with the fresher tires, he might get around to, I thought was Matt Cup. Up in 10th as they coming around that danger corner.
Whoa.
Yep, there it is. The tires are going to help 14 get around. So Keys is in 10th, but he might not have enough fuel or just have really bad tire wear as someone with, like, they got a speeding penalty. So, ooh, and with Garcia has a lot of damage too now. So he might be picking a couple people off before we get to the end of this, but then again, we don't know whether that tire wear might get to him at the end. Albeit, I guess I was wrong. He's actually outside the top 10 because of those.
Yeah, he's still
body armor
not
used
quite
drivers
there,
there.
but that is actually further up than I thought he would be. Andrew Williams is also in the Pro Series points. You know, he was the last driver to get any points in the E Series, and he may get points in the one Pro Series race here. That's going to make things interesting. As this is getting interesting, Logan Williams trying to get around Alexander Rowe there for the 4th position. And Alexander Rowe, Andrew Williams, those are 2 drivers. It should not be a surprise.
Whoa.
Oh boy, contact there into the toe. Should not be a surprise that those are 2 of the E-Series drivers that are up front here. They are both very experienced drivers. And they know what they're doing behind the scenes. I know Andrew's had the worst luck possible in the E-Series, but he might get some decent points over there in the E-Series and gets a couple of Pro Series points while he's at it. And Alexander Rowe denying Logan Williams right there, and Williams actually slipping back. Here comes Stewart and Andrew as they move their way through the field right here. Stewart way wide. This is going to get a little ugly right here. They go double wide in the corner. Grattan going to try to peek to the inside of Alexander Rowe and take that spot away, and he will. Stewart now up to the 4th position. But Justin Zeidel's got a 5.3 second lead. 5 laps to go here at Watkins Glen ahead of Ludovic Charette.
At the moment, Justin Zeidel is absolutely gone with the race lead. He's drove a very clean race here so far, and that's really what you want to try and nail down here at Watkins Glen, is running a clean race, and Justin Zeidel has really seemed to nail that here today. Ludovic Charette up to 2nd now, and you also got Nicholas Samedeo there in 3rd. Alexander Rowe doing a fantastic job running up here. Got to shove Logan Williams a little bit wide there, trying to hold on to position. And now he's going after it here with a 78 of Andrew Miller. And Miller's looking pretty fast here. He's passed a couple of cars ever since that cycle of pit stops happened, so I don't really know what kind of adjustments they might have made to that 78 machine, but he's looking really sporty here during the 2nd run as he tries to go after Alexander Rowe here, maybe move himself up here in the top 5.
Not able to get the spot quite yet. Logan Williams, you got to be rather frustrated because he had a shot at getting around Alexander Rowe there, move up into the 4th position, and now he's back in 7th, and Isaac Nichols is right behind him there, looking to put him another spot down. Ace Garcia, oh, he actually just got around Andrew Williams, so Andrew Williams now outside of the Pro Series points, still 2nd in the East Series points, as Miller back to the inside of Alexander Rowe. Back up front. Always want to keep an eye out for our race leader. Sometimes we've seen it happen where the race leader has overshot turn 11 and taken themselves out of contention, and Ludovic's going to do it.
Oh,
hard contact for Ludovic Charette, and Nicholas Samedeo might close right in for 2nd. 4 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
Oh, we got
some. Oh, Rose in!
And oh, wow.
Miller.
That might be why.
Oh,
so
boy.
a 2-stopper for some of these guys in the back of the field. Alexander Rowe and Logan Williams down the pit lane. And I was wondering, those guys jumped quite a bit. Maybe they just didn't put enough fuel in the tank and try to give themselves an advantage, and now they're going to be a little bit further back in the field. These guys don't do pit stops as often as they do over in the Wall Cup. They're just not as used to it right there, and that's going to shake things up. But the question is, will these guys, Zeidel, Charette, Samedeo, Grattan, these guys have to come back down again, or did they have enough fuel in the tank? It's still 4 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
we're getting a wacky race. Question is Blaine Keys going to play Dick Dastardly or something? I don't know. But Blaine has moved up. Is he in the point right now? I think he is.
He
Just
is
barely,
at the
so
moment.
that's not a help. But he's got all that left side damage, and maybe he might come down a second time for that. I don't know. He was able to get, I guess, a good spot to get enough fuel and get good enough tires so he could last the rest of the race. But yeah, no, with that happening, any expectations I now have are all out the window. People could pit this lap, people could pit lap 15, they could pit coming across the start-finish line to end the race. We don't know. So we're just going to have to see how Justin Seidel does this as he almost misses the corner there. Let's see if Ladovic comes down after sustaining that damage from the last lap.
He's going to get even more of it there. And Nicola Samadillo around for second. I think some of these teams decided to go on a two-stop strategy, and Andrew Miller was one of them. He tried to come down the pit lane the last lap, couldn't get in, and lost a lot of ground because of it. And now you see him down the pit lane there, but I think everyone who was going to make a second stop has already done so. That is not good for Alexander O in the E-Series, because now he's behind Aaron Abel on the racetrack because of that strategy. I think huge. Abel, actually, it's Fujimoto. Right, I see Fujimoto's got the highest spot in the E-Series at the moment.
He's a stick? Was that Rogel? That's Rogel. Never mind.
And that is the 004. We have a 4, we have an 04, and a 004. And the 004 is Fujimoto there in 14th.
Great there.
The same numbers in some of these cars here. 87 of Guanamaro's falling back to 15th. Jared Martin and Lauren Martinez battling for position right there. They got to be careful here with Romero making a move on Fujimoto. And Fujimoto holding on to 10 points right now. And they're in that good position right now in the E-Series. They've had a couple of good runs. Actually won the showdown race at Coda on the road course. So not surprised to see them do well on the road course again. Second place is Aaron Abel in the E-Series. And then you got Alexander O in third in the E-Series. So we'll see. We'll see what the strategy ends up playing out for some of these guys as this race moves along. Justin Seidel still just pulling away 8 seconds now on Nicolas Samadillo there for the race lead. And I don't anticipate Seidel coming in at any point in this race. So 2 laps to go for the 86. Nicolas Samadillo, Ladovic Stret battling again. Samadillo's wide, and now Ladovic trying to take second back away, and Stuart Gratton's right here. They all got significant damage on the race cars. Isaac Nichols up to 5th. Rogel and Ace Garcia battling. Blaine still in the points in the number 14. Nathan Stapleton, remember he had to repair the damage. He's back in the points. And how about our in-season tournament winner, Valtra Baranauskas, taking the last point at the moment. But near 10-second lead for Justin Seidel. It's like SVG's Shane Van Gisbergen's in this car here today. That 86 is one of the best cars out there, and no damage on that machine either. That is massive for Justin Seidel, looking to get his first win here in the Pro Series since last year at Kentucky. He got that win at Kentucky. You remember that one, Eddie?
Absolutely. And that was an interesting race. This might be his new thing. He just wins a BAPS race every year. Not a terrible bit, if I do say so myself.
Samadillo lost both spots to Charette and Gratton right there. Nichols is 5th. Ace Garcia, Rogel, Blaine Keys, Nathan Stapleton, and Audra Baranauskas. Didn't realize they were going to have a split strategy race right there and have some of these guys try to go 2. That's actually working out all right for Alexander O. The downside for him, though, is that he's losing some points there to Aaron Abel at the moment. They got 97's 23rd, and Alexander O there in 25th at the moment. But we're about to take the white flag here, Watkins Glen. Justin Seidel in the number 86, long-time veteran of the channel, has not had the most success over in the Wall Cup Series, but there's a good thing about a series like this. You do not have to worry about a team owner not doing their ratings. It's all about you as a driver, and right now the 86 dominating this field. A couple of guys in the E-Series in the back of the field, and Jared, that's Troxel, not Jared Martin with heavy damage. And here we go once again, Gratton to the inside of Charette there for second. Pretty much a lock unless Justin Seidel trashes it at some point on this racetrack. Pretty much a lock that he's going to win this race. But who's going to be second? Who's going to get those 18 points? Going to be a great battle for the second position here in the last lap.
These guys continue to go at it here for the second position, but like you mentioned up front, it's been just absolutely lights out for Justin Seidel. Honestly, he's probably driven about as a perfect race as he possibly could have. He's gotten really close to that turn 11 wall, but I don't think I have seen him even tap it once. That 86 has driven an absolutely spectacular race, and he's just got to do one more clean lap to bring it home. And with the lead he's got, he could probably coast it at this point. And this is definitely heating up here for the second position on back, as Charette and San Medeo are right on the back bumper of Stuart Grattan. But yeah, up front, it's just all Justin Seidel. He might have a lap car to deal with, but like I said, he can just coast it from here.
He's got to be careful getting around this number 6 machine of Campbell Marsh. Kind of diving it there into the heel. He does not need to be aggressive at all, and he cannot risk getting himself taken out right here. But he wants it. He is ready for a race victory here today, and I think he's led every single lap today as well. I think he's actually gone wire to wire, just like Romero did last week. This race had a lot more going for it than that. And Justin's got to be careful here, as he's going to be way wide in 11. A little bit of a tap, but not enough to ruin his day. Justin Seidel has won the Grand Prix of Watkins Glen here in the BodyArmor Pro Series.
Oh, had to come down again.
More drivers coming down. An issue on the 40. That's going to cost him in the points in the E-Series. Stuart Grattan, Nicholas Sambadio, Ludovic Charette, Isaac Nichols, Ace Garcia, Rogaldorn, Nathan Stapleton, and Audra Baranowskis.
He's got
around Blaine Keys, and Keys going to get 1 point here today, but he's going to slip back just a little bit in the standings from that. They're still getting around this place here. Ryosuke Fujimoto going to be the highest in the E-Series. Going to be 10 points for them. Oh, and Jared Martin just blew up in the 98 machine while he was running second in the E-Series.
No,
and he's going to lose points from that. He's got to coast this thing back around. Next E-Series driver is his teammate of Aaron Abel.
Oh, no.
Andrew Williams, not too far off right here. I don't think he's going to be able to beat the... is his pit stall ahead? His pit stall's not even...
No.
Oh, that is such a shame there. He's not even going to cross, and I'm going to finish the race. Aaron Abel's going to get second in the E-Series. Andrew Williams is going to get third in the E-Series.
Oh, that's a punch in the gut.
That's terrible. And then I think these guys are... I don't know what their problem is there in the back of the field. Dylan Matthews and Josh Marzak running out of fuel at the end.
If I'm correct, if what I think is correct, the teammate of Aaron Abel just blew up, giving him the point he needs to take the lead from Alexander Rowe in the championship standings, assuming Rowe doesn't end up...
What did he do? What did Nathan do?
I don't know. Hey, and Nathan got by, Blaine, so it's been a good day for NS Racing all around, but I want to send the officials over there. There may be something in there. But regardless of that, Justin Seidel. Just last lap wanted to add a little bit of damage just for funsies, I guess. Because other than that, he drove practically the most perfect race you could ask for at Watkins Glen. And he gets the win. So, really impressive. Make that 2 BodyArmor Pro Series wins to him to date. Probably more than that, but he will. We will see how this rest of the year goes for Justin Seidel, but at least he can say he got his win.
He's going to start on the pole for our next race at the Rockingham Motor Speedway next week, by the way. No, 2 weeks from now. Excuse me. 2 weeks from now. My apologies. It'll be Nathan Stapleton alongside him for that race. Stuart Grattan, Blaine Keys, Nicholas Sambadio, Ludovic Charette, Jack Haas. Because Alexander Rowe in the E-Series does not count, of course, towards the next race. This is the only combination race for these guys. Matthew Hubert, Lauren Martinez, Audra Baranowskis, Drew Webb, Juan Romero, Ace Garcia, LJ Semedo, Matt Tuck, Rogaldorn, Carson Miller, Leonard Kochmer, Andrew Miller, Isaac Nichols. Logan Williams has struggled a lot in the qualifying there. Alonzo in the 23. Anybody else? Thomas Troxel there in the back of the field there. He'll probably start last at Rockingham Motor Speedway. We know that Seidel will win the pole for that race. All right, what a crazy little race we had right there. I don't think we were quite expecting that. Justin Seidel, 25 points towards the championship in the Pro Series. And then I believe it was Ryosei Fujimoto getting the highest finishing position for the East Series drivers. They're going to get 10 points. Aaron Abel going to get 9. Andrew Williams, Dylan Matthews, Josh Marzak. That's how they go in line there for the East Series drivers. Take a look at the rest of it right there. Goes Marzak, Reynolds, Hernandez, Neely. Alexander only getting 2 points. Kyle Craven getting 1 point. And Jared Martin, who was going to be in the points, he gave a point to Alexander Rowe for doing that. So, you know, your point there, Eddie, you know, is that, oh, he blew up so we can give Aaron Abel another point, but he also gave Alexander Rowe another point, so it canceled itself out there. All right, so thoughts on this one. I don't know what the heck happened, but we know that Justin Seidel had the best car, and he absolutely deserved this win, and a great one there for Seidel there, and Ryan Durante gets an owner's win from that as well.
Yeah, definitely a great drive out of Justin Seidel. Like we said, just about as perfect of a race as you could ask for. Led every lap, had the fastest lap, almost a 10-second gap to second place, and just gave the wall one little love tap there at the end, and that's pretty much it for the 86's Seidel. Drove a spectacular race. Stuart Gratton coming home in second, a great finish for him. Sam Adio, nice to see him coming home in third, and just a lot of crazy stuff going on in this race. It was a really fun race, had a lot of great battles, and had, honestly, quite a bit of calamity. But, yeah, a great race here from Watkins Glen. A really tough break for a lot of the guys, especially Jared Martin, blowing up there on the last lap of the race, coming through the final corners. You know what, honestly, just not the best day for the Krispy Kreme cars in general.
Mm-hmm.
The donuts were left a little bit too long in the fryer.
Yeah, I mean, this was certainly a race. This was certainly a race of all time. I'd say it's just as big of a day in the Pro Series as it is in the East Series. As no matter how close Abel closed up to Alexander Rowe there, Stuart Gratton, say against Ladovic to an extent, Nathan Stapleton, Rogel Dorn did get some points towards Blaine Keys, and every little point counts, especially in a year-long season series like this one. So good for them. Ryosei Fujimoto, I believe, while it's not a win, he did win the Austin Grand Prix Showdown, so showing off a little bit of road course experience there. That might help should they decide to move to the Wawa Cup Series or wherever they plan to do next year. And other than that, I think for Alexander Rowe, it was a good tryout while it lasted, and it then stopped being a tryout and more became a survival scenario for him. And he gets at least 9 points, helped by a lot of interesting things that apparently happened at the back. And yeah, we're going to be hopefully talking about this one for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. That was fun. 2 very fun races here today on AG the channel, and we appreciate y'all tuning in for all of them. Our next race in the Pro Series, like I said, 2 weeks from now at the Rockingham Motor Speedway, July 5th. I think that one's at 10 a.m. actually in the morning, so it'll be a little bit earlier for that one, just after we have the first race of the chase for the Wawa Cup Series. But hey, of course, the focus is on the Wawa Cup Series chase, and guess what? Next Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, well, this is next Friday evening, really. Going to be 3:30 in the afternoon over on the West Coast when we have that one going on. It's going to be one heck of a battle. So you makes it into the Wawa Cup Series chase at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Celsius Peach 5400. Looking forward to that one big time. It's going to be a great race there under the lights at Atlanta, even though it's going to be not under the lights in real life. You know, at 6:30 Eastern Time in Atlanta in the middle of June. Hey, whatever, we're having fun with it. It's a video game. Justin Seidel just won the video game here today, and he gets his first win of the year, second win of the year on the channel. He won earlier in the IndyCar series of, if I'm not mistaken, Caleb. I apologize about that. First win in the stock car, though. He earned it here from Watkins Glen. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the points for the BodyArmor Pro Series after 12 races, and also in the BodyArmor LYTE Series East after 9 races. I've lost count. You'll see it. You'll see it here in just a moment, and we'll see you guys next time here in the Pro Series 2 weeks from now from the Rockingham Motor Speedway. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Justin Seidel, and on behalf of Caleb Rose and Eddie Debs, I will see you guys later.